Now we will see database recovery techniques. Already in the last class we have seen how the database failure and what are the types of failures. Now we will see failure, how to control, and whatever the recovery techniques used in a database. Recovery techniques are somewhat expensive in terms of time and in memory space. If any failure occurs in the database due to some software, hardware or external failure, it is very expensive to recover that database in terms of time and memory also. Next, recovery technique also involves the manpower. Who will do this recovery means man only. Next, some general precautions that help in controlling the failure. Mostly we need to control the failures. Some of the precautions are having a regulated power supply, having a better secondary storage system such as a RAID, taking period backup of database, setting important integrity checks in the database. So if you maintain all this in a database, then you can control the failures. If you having a regulated power supply, better secondary storage, and regularly period backup of database, setting in important integrity constraints in your database, if you maintain all this, you can control failures. If failure is happened, what are the recovery techniques we will see. When the data are not readily available, organization faces a lot of problems. So here, if the data is not available in a database, that organization faces a lot of problems. So data backup and recovery procedures are critical in all database installations. So here the database backup and recovery is very important in all the organizations. So here backup and recovery methods. What are the backup and recovery methods? We will see now. Periodic data and application backups. First step is periodic data and application backups, which is nothing but some dbms include tools to ensure backup and recovery of the data in the database. Some dbms software tools, it automatically back up the data in the database. So whatever the transactions done on the database, that will be automatically backup, okay, and recovery done. DBA should use those tools to render the backup and recovery tasks automatic. Who will take care all this backup and recovery means mostly database administrator only. Next one, proper backup identification. So here backups must be clearly identified through the detailed descriptions and date information, thus enabling the DBA to ensure that the correct backups are used to recover the database. So here whenever the database administration done backup on particular data, for the data he should maintain what is the description of this data, which is nothing but this data is related on which date, and this data is relating to which type. All that information should be maintained. In case of any in case of any recover, this backup data can be used. Next one, convenient and safe backup storage. If you want write notes, you can write the notes. Convenient and safe backup storage. There must be multiple backups of the same data, and each backup copy must be stored in a different location. The storage location must be inside and outside of the organization. So here always take the multiple backups of the same data, and whatever the backups you have taken, that backups must be stored inside the organization and also outside of the organization also. Why? Because if anything happens in the inside organization, at least you will get the backup in at the outside also. Next one, storage location must be free from fire accident, humidity, temperature controls, floods, and so on. Next one, Physical protection of both hardware and software. Physical protection of hardware and software can be done providing. So physically you need to protect the hardware and software by providing proper AC, backup power, regulated power supply, better secondary storage, fire protection. If you maintain all this, you can protect the database. Next one, personal access control to software software of database installation, providing authorized access control to the database, which is nothing but only authorization should be given to the particular users. Authorization allows the database users to access certain part of the database. Authorization is nothing but is the process of giving someone the ability to access a resource. Only by providing some username and password, that particular database should be used by only particular authorized persons only, who is having that particular username and password. The authorized persons access the database, then it is free from the data loss. Whenever the authorized persons only accessing the data, then it is free from the data loss and data integrity and also data modification. Next one, insurance coverage for the data in the database. Database administrator must secure an insurance policy to provide the financial protection in the event of the database failure. In case database failure occurs, then DBA must provide the financial protection. Insurance might be expensive, but it is less expensive than the disaster created by the massive data loss. So here, taking insurance to that database is very expensive, but it is less expensive than the disaster created by the massive data loss. So here recovery techniques to backward recovery undo, forward recovery redo. In this, uncommitted changes made by a transaction to a database are undone. Whatever the uncommitted, which is not committed changes made by a transaction to a database are undone. Forward recovery redo. In this, the committed changes made by a transaction are reapplied to an earlier copy of the database, which is nothing but a committed changes should be reapplied to the copy of the database. These are the recovery techniques. Please subscribe.